Hi everyone, how have you all been? It's wonderful to see all of you again. I feel like it's been a bit. It probably has because for some reason, I don't know why, my memories of these streams, they feel like they're sometimes a bit sometimes they feel like they were just the other day, other times they feel like it's been a while. So, regardless, I'm so happy to see all of you again. Let's see who's here. You know what? I'm going to zoom into your names because they look quite small here. We got the Dark Lord, we got Big Bash, Fireboy, Anime is here, Drake is here, Logan, Rohan is here. The Dark Lord of the Sith is here. Spider Will and Doggin. Is that G Gamer? Correct me if I'm wrong, but like I say, your names sometimes change, and then I struggle to remember. Hermano389, who says Star Wars Original Trilogy versus video. I've been thinking about that for quite a bit, doing a video like that, and then doing a video on the prequels. So yeah, watch this space. At some point, I'll try to do that. Right now, I'm going to be working, like I said, on the Avatar verses. I've got some commission videos I got to get on top of, and then I'm also going to do the plan right now is to do the versus video on the new Mario movie when that comes out as well. So with the original Mario movie, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. But at some point, yeah, I'd love to do a versus on that. I'd even love to do a versus on the Harry Potters, like, 1, 2, and 3 first, then 4, 5, and 6, and I'll put the two sevens in there as well. At some point, I'll try to do that. We'll see how it goes. What your thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer? I've just finished making a video about that. First of all, for those of you that don't know, over on my Patreon, I've already done a trailer reaction to it when the trailer came out, on the day it came out. So if you want to know my full thoughts, it's an 18-minute long video, and I'm watching the trailer for the first time, and I'm going through all the details and everything, and I'm analyzing the trailer. So if you want to know my full thoughts, you're going to get it on Patreon or YouTube memberships. In terms of some thoughts, I have actually made a video. I've not made the thumbnail yet, so I'll publish that hopefully today or tomorrow, but I think realistically, probably tomorrow I'll have that uploaded. So yeah, I'll be able to let you guys know what I'll be able to let you guys know what I think of the trailer by tomorrow. Hopefully you should get a video on that. But if you want to know what my thoughts are instantly, you got to go to my Patreon and you'll see the trailer reaction there. Also, in a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Mario movie coming out, or less than a couple of weeks now. And what we're going to be doing on my Patreon, on my Discord server through my Patreon, is we're going to be doing a watch party, most likely of the first Super Mario Brothers animated movie from Illumination. And we'll be planning to do that as part of our movie watch party leading up to the new movie coming. So be sure to keep your eye out for that, because I'm going to want to, like I said, I'm planning on doing a versus video, and I'll be taking my notes for the versus video as well in that watch party. So if you want to know what my process is like for writing these versus videos, you can join me for that rewatch. Because as I rewatch the movie, as we all watch it together as part of the watch party, you'll be seeing me taking notes and things. So I definitely recommend that. Let's see. N Dog in the House. By the way, N Dog in the House, are you G Gamer, or what was your previous name, or are you a new viewer? Because, like I said, I always struggle to sometimes find names. Sometimes you get new people, sometimes you get the same people, but they just change their usernames. So are you new to the channel, or are you G Gamer? Because I'm thinking G Gamer. And yes, and Dog in the House, it is $10 to become a part of the Discord, become a Discord family member. That's what the perk is called. And it will give you access to all of this. Trailer reactions, you'll get your name in the credits of my videos, you'll have early access to my versus videos when they go up. They'll first go up on Patreon. You'll get access to my game show, which I do want to make more videos on, and my Let's Watch, which there's going to be a lot of Let's Watch content coming over to Patreon, so you're definitely going to want to tune in for that. The Daredevil episodes are coming out soon. I'm debating whether I should do Let's Watch of the new Invincible episodes that have come out. So yeah, like I said, you're going to want to tune in. Plus, I'm still watching Adolescence because I Hate Anime commissioned that I watched that. And I've watched 2 episodes. I'm going to get to watching episode 3 soon and recording my reaction to that. So you guys are, like I said, tons of content available on Patreon, like tons of it. And only more will be coming. So I hope you guys all enjoy all the content that's coming. And N Doggin looks like you're interested in joining, being a member of the Discord family. Uh, just know as soon as you sign up for the Discord family perk, what you got to do is you got to go to your Patreon settings and you got to link your Patreon with your Discord account. Then you'll automatically gain entry into the Discord server. I say that because a couple people were struggling to get in, and once I told them that, they got into the server. So, just giving you that advice. And for anyone else who wants to join the Discord family, that's also what you got to do as well. Hermano says, my friend is begging me to watch Attack on Titan. What should I do? I'd say watch it. I've not seen it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. My sister actually watched it, and she really enjoyed it. And, people have said to me that I should give it a watch. So at some point, I'm going to give it a watch. And if your friend is basically telling you to watch it, give it a watch. I've heard it's very good. And on the plus side, all the episodes are out. When I was being recommended it by my sister, the episodes had not all come out, and they were taking ages to release the next season. So at least now, you, me, and everyone else who watches it now can benefit from the fact that all the episodes are out. So yeah. Drake says, "Hey Eric, did you know that the Iron Lung movie is made by Markiplier himself? What are your thoughts on Markiplier?" Yes, I am aware of that actually. In fact, on my Discord, we were just talking about the Discord server. Some of you actually sent it to me on my private Discord server. You said, "What do you think of this trailer?" And I watched it, and I said it looked quite low budget. There wasn't too much to really gather from it. Uh, and then people were saying to me a while later, "So, have you heard about the Iron Lung movie?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I have." And then I remembered later, I was like, hang on, I saw that trailer. Was that Iron Lung? I double checked. It was. So I have seen the Iron Lung movie. In fact, I Hate Anime has actually gifted me the Iron Lung game over on Steam. He's a friend. He's been added as a friend on my Steam account, and he gifted me that because he wants to commission me to do a versus video between the Iron Lung game and the Iron Lung movie. So I haven't played the game yet. I'm still busy with stuff, but I'm gonna give it a look. And once I give it a look, I'll decide whether or not it's a versus video I can do. Because versus videos with games, that makes the videos just much harder. It's a different basis of comparison, and there's a lot of work that goes involved. You got to record your gameplay footage, and gameplay footage is much different compared to footage from a movie, so it makes things much trickier. So I'm gonna decide whether or not I'll do that. But yeah, that's something that's potentially in the pipeline of videos I'm gonna have to do, that I will be doing. But no, Markiplier, I haven't got too much thoughts because I've not watched him in too many things. I watched a couple of his videos over time, but that's about it. Billy, great to see you. And we got Crazy Cat Lady here too. For those of you that don't know, Billy and Crazy Cat Lady are both also Discord members of the Discord family. So always great to see them whenever they come over into the Discord family, when they also show up in the live streams. Oh, Hermano is going. Oh, wow. Okay, take care, bud. I didn't know you were leaving so soon. Hopefully you enjoy watching Attack on Titan. A Big Bash has a versus video between a game and a movie. That's different. It is different, and it's going to be very tricky to make something like that. Spider-Man 1 for Spider-Man 2, an example of video games being hard to do. It is. It's a big video. I think it was about a 45-minute video, possibly even longer, so I wasn't able to get to it. N. Doggin says, Eric, what are your thoughts on the Lanterns trailer? I thought it was horrible. Again, my trailer reaction to Lanterns is on my Patreon, so definitely check that out. You'll get my full thoughts on it there. Let's see. Joshman says, hey, Eric, how are you doing today? And how was the rewatch of Toy Story 4? And do you think it has gotten worse as time goes on? You know, it's funny you say that. Last week we did a watch party of Toy Story 4 on my Discord server. And I didn't hate it as much. Well, I never hated the movie. You hate the fact that they've made it. But I watched Toy Story 4 again after all these years, the second time I've seen it now. And I was like, yeah, it's still very disposable. There's good scenes in it, for sure, but it's a very disposable movie, and it's sad that they basically undid the ending of Toy Story 3 with Toy Story 4 by continuing it, and they continued it with a movie that I thought was very mediocre and had no reason to exist. And as a direct result, a lot of people look back at Toy Story 4 with not the fondest of memories. So hopefully Toy Story 5 will give you a reason to go back, because with Toy Story 5 there actually is a story. The idea that toys are being phased out for tablet devices and things, that's actually a very good story, I think. So it'll be cool to see what they do with that. But still, I think it should have ended with Toy Story 3. I really think Toy Story should have ended with 3. Okay. Oh, really? And Dog in the House. It did. Wow. Didn't know it would give you nightmares. If they wanted to continue Toy Story, they should have continued with a new owner and new toys. It is the only way to do something different. Well, Bonnie was a new owner, but they kind of messed that up. Um, Rango, yeah, that was actually a good movie, Drake. I saw that movie a long, long time ago. I thought it was actually pretty good. Spider Will says, "You hear that Jim Carrey's returning for Sonic 4?" Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. We'll see. We'll see if it happens, and then I'll comment on it. Rango was shot in only 20 days. That's interesting. Smoothie King, great to see you again. Thoughts on The Sopranos? I've not seen it, because it came out when I was a kid. I did go back and watch Breaking Bad, and that I thought was really good. But no, I've not seen The Sopranos. I'm sad to say. They made a movie as well. Something in what was it called? Something in Newark. I can't remember, but that was meant to be like some kind of prequel, I think. Um, when that came out, I was thinking of rewatching it, but then I never did Sorry, when that came out, I thought of watching The Sopranos, then watching that prequel movie. Never happened. That was it. The Many Saints of Newark. That was it. Smoothie King. Thanks for that. So when that was approaching, I thought maybe I should watch it and then watch the prequel, and then I never got around to it. So yeah. All right. So who's ready for the stories that we discuss this time? Let's see. Let me just see if I've got everything set up. I think I do. And what I've also got to do as well is I got to make sure I've got my notes ready. Because there's some additional information as well that I think I should try to get in here. Okay, I've got that written, so that's prepared. It's a part of the Green Lantern story, very important, something that I should bring up, and I've got it on my phone here. Anime says, sorry, I lost connection. Did you say you have seen the movie? Which movie are you referring to, Anime? No, I've not seen the Iron Lung movie yet. No, it's not. I don't think it's out yet for me to see. It was on the cinema for a bit. I don't think it's in the cinema anymore. And Dog in the House, you also lost the connection. That's bizarre. Is the connection working now? Let me see. Big Bash says his connection is really good. Okay, Dark Lord Sith said he had a little glitching earlier, but it's fine now. Okay, if it happens again, let me know, guys, and I'll try to fix it. Okay. All right, so let's go to the first story, and this will probably be the most exciting story for me, because this is really going to be going back to not quite my childhood, but when I was quite young, when I was watching something in particular. So the first story we're going to go to is this Team Avatar. We've actually finally got some images of Team Avatar. that have been released, and we get to see what they look like in this new movie, and we get to see how old they are. Now, they're not as old as they looked in some of the other images we saw, like in The Legend of Korra, for example, but we get to see close-up looks of them. So let's show you. So we got Aang right here first. Then we have Katara. Then Toph, which is a bit funny to see Toph, but I'll say why in a second. Then we got Zuko, and for some reason we don't have an image of Sokka, which is bizarre. But yeah, we'll have a close-up look at Sokka as well, don't worry. So first, let's take a look at Avatar Aang. So here we go. Now, Aang, you can see, much taller. Clearly, he was the shortest of all of them, except for Toph at the time. But yeah, he's much taller, and he looks very much like himself still. He looks a bit more mature, but he doesn't look as old as he did in the Legend of Korra flashbacks, if you remember the flashback sequences where he was much older there. And the same goes for even Toph, because we saw Toph and Sokka in that flashback, and even Toph doesn't look as old as she did in those flashbacks. So yeah, we got Toph here, and she's also gotten much taller. And I gotta say, it's interesting to see how they look just like they did in the animated series, but just taller, pretty much. That's what they look like. They largely look like they've just gotten taller, but they ultimately look very much the same. So yeah, we got Toph right there, and then next up, what we're gonna look at is Katara. And Katara also looks very much the same. She's even got her hair in that ponytail type thing. And yeah, if you look at her, again, taller, but she looks very much the same. And I'll tell you why this is going to be kind of weird in a second. But let's also look at Zuko here. No, I didn't mean to say that. Zuko here. And let's make him bigger and take a look at his image too. Okay, and we got Zuko. Zuko probably looks the most different, and it's really because he has a lot more hair. His face ultimately looks the same, though, but he looks almost like a proper prince now. Do you notice that? With his long hair and everything. Let me just read what you guys say. But yeah, that is... I like these designs. They're still very much staying true to the 2D animation style of the series, and they're not overdoing it too much, but you can tell they've modernized the animation so it still looks good at the same time. So I'm very much pleased with what I am seeing in terms of these. Now, there is something I want to talk about. Like I said, they all look the same, pretty much. Even Sokka, let's just have a quick look at Sokka here. Let's zoom in here and take a look at him. You can see Sokka on the front over here. Even Sokka looks very much the same. So I like that they've got the... They all look basically very similar to what they looked like in the animated series. That is very good. But something that is not so good... give me a second. Let me load that up. And this is something I'm very curious to know what you guys think too, how you guys feel about this. Because I think this isn't particularly great. Okay. Alright, now, the thing that I really don't like what they've done is that, first of all, the characters look very similar to what they did before. They don't look like they've changed much. In spite of that, they've hired different voice actors for all of them. And that is something I don't like. Now, at first I was okay with it, because I thought if they were going to be much older, like they were in the Legend of Korra flashbacks, that was something I was like, okay, it's understandable if you get them different voices, because they had different voices then, but they were much older, clearly. But here, they look like they're older, but they don't look like they're massively older. They look like they've gone from kids who were like 11, 12, 13. They look like now they've gone to like 22, 23. Like they're older, but they still look very much like they're young. And not to mention that Mae Whitman, who plays Katara, she sounds very much the same even now when she's older in real life. So I was like, if you give Katara Mae Whitman's voice and her character model looks like this, I'm like, you know what? I can still see Katara's voice fitting this, and I would look at her as being someone older. And voice actors, they can tune their voices to make them sound just a little bit different, to make them sound a little bit older. And that would work. I know how Aang, of course, you can't make him older. I'm very much aware that you can't do that. To get the same voice actor because they'll sound completely different. So you're going to want to get a voice that sounds like Aang, but also sounds more mature. Because his voice is going to break the most, I think, out of all the characters. But then we also have Zuko here. I swear I'm not doing that on purpose. Then we got Zuko. And Dante Bosco, in real life, he sounds exactly the same as he did when he was a young teenager. Like, go back to when he was in Hook, for example. He sounds exactly the same as he did when he was a kid, as he does as an adult. So if you got the same, Dante Bosco doing the voice here for Zuko, I think everyone would have been fine with it. They would have went with it. But no, they've got Stephen Yeun apparently doing his voice. For those of you that don't know, Stephen Yeun is the voice of Invincible. So they got Invincible to do the voice of Zuko, and it just confuses me as to why they did that. Zuko in particular has such a Dante Bosco, I mean, he has such a recognizable voice, and to swap it out with a voice that doesn't sound anything like Zuko, it's just bizarre to me. Now, it also would have been weird if they just casted, like, one of, like, let's say if they brought Dante Bosco back, but they didn't bring any of the other voice actors back. That also would have been weird. But even Sokka is the voice actor for Sokka. He sounds exactly the same in real life now as he did back when he voiced Sokka in the show. So again, it's one of those things where I'm like, why didn't they bring the original voice actors back? These character models look like they're perfect for that, like to bring the original voices back. But they didn't. And that's something that really kind of disappoints me, really. It just like just imagine these voice actors speaking again in these roles after all these years. That would blow all of us away. All of us would have big smiles on our faces. Do you know how you see people watching these movies in theaters and how they're just screaming and like whistling and everything? They would do that just by you hearing the voice actors again. But the fact they didn't bring the voice actors in, that kind of takes the fun away from it from me, if I'm being honest with you. Drake Holly says Boomerang. I'm like, yeah. Now maybe the guys that are making the show, the creators of the show, Mike and Brian, maybe they are aware of that because I'm sure they care about these characters very much too, and they wouldn't want to make any changes unless it's, necessary. I'm sure they kept that into account, so I'm sure they must have picked these voices very carefully. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe some trailers or something we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, even having said that, I'm open to seeing what these new voices sound like. I still wish they would have kept the original voices. These characters have not aged too much. You can keep the original voices, except for Aang, of course. But for some reason, they decided to swap their voices out, and yeah, that's very disappointing if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I wish they would have done better here. So yeah, that's one thing that I think. Aside from that, fantastic. I love these character designs. I think that all the characters look great. And I'm just waiting for that trailer. The movie is finished, by the way. They've completed it. They've completed the movie, and now it's just a matter of waiting. And I wouldn't be surprised if they moved the release date forward, because originally this movie was going to go in theaters. And if it was in theaters, dude, I would have gone to have seen it opening day. Especially if they had the original voice actors. That would have definitely helped a ton. But yeah, the we'll have to see what the release schedule is, because like I said, the movie's not releasing in theaters anymore. Now it's going to go straight to streaming, which I'm actually sad about. Normally I prefer movies going to streaming depending on the movies, but with this I actually wouldn't have minded seeing this in theaters. I actually really would have enjoyed seeing this in theaters. So the fact it's not there is not particularly good. But on the plus side, you guys have seen that projector review I did of the Valerian Vision Master Pro 2, so I still have that. I will be watching it on a projector. So for me, that's good, but come on, I still would have liked the whole experience of everyone being able to go see these iconic characters back in the theater. I would have loved that, but sadly they haven't They've taken it off. Those the Ellisons decided to pull it from theaters, which is such a sad thing. And plus, the director that made this, he said that he, even though it's going straight to streaming, they made this with the intention of it being on the big screen. So basically, the budget for this movie is still going to be big. So they've done a lot of great things with Avatar on the TV budget side of things, but to see what they can do with a much bigger budget, that is really exciting. So I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with that. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this on a big screen. But again, I'm just kind of my only reservation is that they did not hire the original voice actors, and they look these, and that's a shame because these character models, these character designs look perfect to like bring the original voice actors back. It would have fit, but they didn't do that. So we'll have to see how it goes. But we gotta see a new trailer. I think a trailer will put a lot of us at ease and answer a lot of our questions. Also, Dave Bautista, I heard about this a long, long time ago when they were casting voice talent, but Dave Bautista apparently is going to be voicing the villain, which is cool. We've also got Ke Huy Quan showing up, and he was, Short Round from Indiana Jones 2, and then he was in, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he's been in some other movies since as well. He's doing a voice in an unspecified role. We've also got Taika Waititi doing a voice in an unspecified role. Now, normally I'd be like, oh no, these guys are quite over the top comedy wise, but I trust the Avatar creators to utilize them properly. Not to mention it's anime, so you can get away with actually making their voices a little bit more over the top, as opposed to some other movies that are more serious where they try to make Taika Waititi over the top. So here, I'm sure they'll channel him properly and get him, to work in a way that makes sense. So I have no doubt about that. Crazy Cat Lady says short rounds in this movie. Cool. Oh, you mean animation, not anime? Says I hate anime. Well, that's the thing with Avatar. It's definitely anime inspired. You could tell like they got anime inspirations mixed with Western animation. That's something that was interesting about Avatar is that it was a mix of both. It wasn't just Western animation. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, you're right. I did mean that. But for me, they're like half and half in that. I got the Dark Lord of the Sith here saying Twinkle Toes, Zuzu, Melon Lord, the Preacher, and Boomerang. This is rough, buddy. Yep, but I cannot wait. Hmm. That's interesting. Big Bash says Dave Batista kind of looks like Zahir from The Legend of Korra. I guess so. He kind of does. A little bit, isn't it, if they wanted to do something like that? Anime says I used to think that Invincible was an anime because of the animation. Yeah, because they clearly are inspired, aren't they, by that kind of stuff. Fireboy says I can't wait to see what Team Ang what they are up to after the OG series. And Billy says I have honestly so many opinions and expectations that I'll probably just shut them down until I see it. Very wise to do that. And Spirit Hero says, speaking of Taika, is a Star Wars movie still happening? I doubt it. Taika Waititi's next movie is Judge Dredd. He's making a Dredd movie. So yeah, he's not making another Star Wars movie. I think they've taken that away from him. Quite frankly, I'd be surprised if he got it back, especially after his reputation recently. Ang is an aura farmer. I bet it's not gonna. I bet it's not getting a big screen release because it's not a SpongeBob movie. It could be that, or it's because maybe the Ellisons think that it's a woke movie that they don't want to release it because it's in theaters because it's progressive. Even though Avatar has always been progressive, and I mean even the original 3 seasons, I thought they were progressive too, like how they took like, but in a good way, not in a forced pandering way, like the way they got a disabled character like Toph, and they made Toph like a really badass like earthbender. And they took a disabled character, but it didn't feel like they were preaching diversity or anything. Now they would be preaching that, but this is how you do it. So if anyone's going to be doing diversity, I trust them to do it. Even though I did think that Korra and Asami, I thought that seemed a bit thrown together. Like I was like, wait, what? And everyone was like, wait, what? Like when was this a thing? So we'll have to see. Big Bash says it has organic woke. Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's so organic woke. Stephen Yeun is a great actor, but he is not really a fit for Zuko. I don't think so either, because Dante Basco has such a unique sounding voice. And to bring in To bring in Stephen Yeun, he sounds a little bit more generic. He's got a good sounding voice, but for Zuko, it doesn't sound unique. I'm genuinely am surprised that they're hiring these other people for him, but I'm curious to see. I hope they release a trailer soon. I really want to see what they sound like, and I want to see what the animation looks like. We've seen nothing from this so far except these images, so we're going off of very little when it comes to this Avatar movie, and I really, really want to see more. Nickelodeon interfered with Korra and Asami. That's why it was so thrown together. Big Bash, I don't think it was, because if you want, there was an interview they did, a radio interview, a very detailed one, and they said Nickelodeon just never really cared. That's why, like, when there was like a suicide scene at the end of Korra season 1, where a brother kills himself, and his other brother, and I'm like, dude, like that was dark. And someone asked them, like, how'd you get away with that? Wouldn't Nickelodeon tell you no, you can't do that? And they said, no, here's the thing, they really don't care. And people are like, wow, that Nickelodeon didn't care about that scene at the end of Korra season 1. Like, how? How did they get away with that in Nickelodeon? That was the big shocker at the time. So I don't know if that's something that Nickelodeon would mess with. Plus, the show went online as well. Like they were releasing it online. So I don't think that's an issue, really. I don't think. I don't think that was that was the thing. I think it was just poorly done. Just like how the breakup between Asami and Mako in season 1 was poorly done. They even said that they thought that they were too subtle with it. So maybe they were too subtle with this. Maybe that's a problem that they have where they could do better. So yeah. So what do you guys think of this? Do you like these designs? And as well as liking these designs, what do you think of the fact that they're hiring different voice actors and not the original voice actors? I would really like to know your guys' thoughts on that. So let me know what you think. What do you guys think? Let me read your questions. And of course, you can do super chats and Streamlabs chats as well. To do a Streamlabs chat, I've got a link in in the pinned comment section if you want to check that out. Ultimate Lifeform, we'll talk about those questions later. Right now, we'll keep everything focused on the Avatar questions. Yeah, Tarlok and Noatok. Yeah, Dark Lord of the Sith. Yeah, their ending was dark, especially for Nickelodeon. Like the designs a lot, but the new cast is rough, buddy. Yeah, I kind of agree, but we'll have to see how they sound. Spider-Will says, hope they don't make Aang into a hermit. They won't. They won't make Aang into a hermit. Aang is not that kind of person. And these guys, they know what they're doing with their characters. They wouldn't disrespect him like that. Joshman says, I would say I wish they could have kept the original actors, but I do like some of the actors, like the actor who played Short Round from Temple of the Doom, and the actor from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I like them too, so it depends how they utilize them, though, and how will they sound if they're voicing our main characters. That's what I'm talking about, the main characters here. What do you think about, changing their voices? Khan says, I do like the characters' designs and poster, although I am still not a fan of the movie they replaced the original voice cast. I hope the creators can still make up for it. Here's hoping they do. I'm sure they must know that people are not going to like that they changed the voices, so they must have picked the right ones. I'm hoping they did. Wait, will D. Bradley Baker still play Opera Momo? Yes, he will. His name is in the cast, so yes, he will. That was something I was happy to see. I was like, oh, Momo and Opera are there. I never thought about those two as, I heard this movie was coming out. I was so focused on the human characters that I forgot all about Momo and Opera. And I was like, how could I forget about those two? Billy says, I think they all look great. I guess I wouldn't mind new voice actors, but it's not like the others are too old to make the characters. Yeah, they're not. But at the same time, I just kind of thought that these designs looked so similar to when they were kids that some of these voice actors returning would work. But they didn't do that. We'll see how it goes. Crazy Cat Lady says, looks like they didn't jet. They didn't show his death. Look, they didn't jet. They didn't show his death. Yeah. Yeah, jet they didn't. Yeah. With Korra, they could go darker, though. Yeah, D. Bradley Baker also played Perry the Platypus. Yeah, D. Bradley Baker has done so many creature sound effects. Like, he's done so many voices. Khan says it's still a shame that Suki isn't part of the poster as well because she played a massive role in the previous seasons of Avatar. Yes, but I can see why they would probably want to slowly roll out the other characters. Thing is, you can't just drop all the characters at once. You gotta drop your main characters first, and then start dropping the other characters. And maybe some characters they don't want us to know because they want it to be a surprise. You know, you don't want to drop everything, do you? So I think it's good that they've dropped the main characters, and then after that they can start dropping the others. Because Zuko was a main character throughout seasons 1, 2, and 3. Suki was really not. She showed up in one episode in season 1, showed up in I think 2 episodes in season 2, and then she showed up a lot more times in the latter half of season 3. But Suki was never a main character in that sense. She kind of became more so in season 3, but still, the other characters that we've got on this in this picture, they are the main characters. So I understand why they prioritized them in the promotional image. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? Fireboy says, I wish they kept the old voice cast, but I won't mind the changes. Okay, I can see that. Big Bash says, this looks cool, but it's a shame the original voice actors aren't coming back. They all look like they're in their early 20s. Yeah, and I think that a lot of their voices would have fit that way. And Doggenhouse says, more buffering. That's interesting. Let me know if it's buffering at all for you guys, and let me know, and I'll try to see if I can do. I wish they kept the old voice cast, but I won't mind the changes. I should have read that. Wise, ask me that question again later during the Q&A. Right now, we're focusing questions on Avatar. If you want me to answer the questions like that right now, the only way to do that is via a super chat or a Streamlabs chat, and, you know, ask your question that way. Dark Lord of the Sith says, almost all the original cast could fit, minus Aang and potentially Toph. I've heard her voice in recent years. Yeah, she's on YouTube, the voice actress for Toph, and I'm sure she can manipulate her voice to sound more like Toph, because Toph's voice really was just her voice when she was a kid. So now that she's older, it's like, well, just keep the voice that she has, or maybe get her to mature it a bit. But I don't mind if they change her voice, because Toph, they changed her voice before a couple times in the core of the show, and it was fine. So I'm sure they'll get a better voice. A more fitting voice for an older Toph. Zuko is the best character, says Big Bash. His arc was so good. Yeah, they're all amazing characters. Zuko was a fantastic character. Let's see. Kalo says, Eric, I wanted to ask, even though it's off topic, but have you watched the Chucky? It's off topic. We can't answer that question right now. Like I said, if you want me to answer that question right now, it has to be done via a Streamlabs chat or a super chat, or wait for the Q&A right at the end. But right now, we're talking about the stories that we're talking about. We need to stay focused. Let's see. Can't wait for a cameo from ONG. Oh, hold on. I missed this one. The Dark Lord says, wait, where's Iroh? Where is he? Well, we'll have to see if he's in here. Hopefully he is. Gary Looks says, I swear I heard that Dante Basco was going to reprise his role as Zuko. Nope, turns out he's not. The thing I want most from this movie is the politics of surrounding the creation of Republic City and the birth of Equalist movement. We'll see if that comes in. I'm sure that some of that will come in, because they said that Aang and Zuko both work towards that. But I feel like they were also, if you read the comics, The Promise and The Search, particularly in The Promise, I feel like they were already establishing what some of that would look like, some of the foundations. So maybe by this point, they've already done a lot in terms of making the world a better place. So maybe when we find the characters at the beginning of the movie, we'll see that the world is much more different now compared to the first movie. Sorry, to the original series. So we'll have seen that development happen already, you know, while we were away from them for all these years. Maybe that's what will happen. Have never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I would like to eventually in the future. Josh, man, it's amazing. It's my #1 favorite show of all time. It might seem a bit kiddie at the beginning, but trust me, stick with it. And in season 1 alone, plenty of great stuff comes in. It is the best show in my opinion. It really is. Crazy Cat Lady, I agree. I wish the movie would go to theaters as well. Man will be killed for Zuko's character development, I fear. We'll have to see what goes on with that. Let's see. Sup, what did I miss? Oh, G Gamer. we were just talking about the new character designs for for Team Avatar now that they're older, and I also talk about the fact how they both look that characters look very similar. That you could have kept the original voice actors, but they've hired different voice actors, including Stephen Yeun as Zuko, and I would have preferred them to keep most of the original voice actors, except for Ang and maybe Toph because their voices hadn't broken, and of course you need older voices for them. But Sokka, Katara, Zuko, you could have kept the original voice actors for them, I think. Oh my god, Kalu says, I've never really seen Avatar. Is the live action considered a good starting point? No, 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 no. A great starting point is the original animated series. Go watch that. Don't stay away from both live action versions. I've done a versus video of the live action Avatar, the Netflix show, and it was really bad, so don't bother watching that. Big Bash, I've not read Azula's redemption arc yet. Although I've heard that there is somewhat of a redemption arc for her. I stopped reading after the Search, so I've not read the Rift, which I have to still read, and the ones beyond that as well. Eric, what is your opinion on? Oh, I've already read that. They can get Frank Welker in the show to voice that animal. Well, maybe. Stephen Yeun voiced Avatar 1 in Legend of Korra. Oh yeah, he was really good in that. Avatar 1 was amazing. Like that 2 episodes of Avatar 1, I think, was better than all the episodes in The Legend of Korra. Just two 20-minute episodes, they felt like a whole season. Like that was so surprising how good that was. How much they were able to do in 2 episodes. And they enriched the lore with the lion turtles. Like that was so good. I'd expect her to be mentioned at least. Who are we talking here? Oh, Azula. Yeah, I'm sure they would mention her. Billy says, like, this one in particular would feel like an insult. Legend of Korra is so underrated. I love that show. I like Legend of Korra too, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as the original show. Cabbage Man loves his cabbages. Man's got his own priorities, and that's cabbages, says Drake. Indeed. Cabbage Guy. Do you think we'll see Cabbage Guy in this movie? In this movie? What do you guys think? Do you think we'll get my cabbages joke in this? That would be fun. That would be fun. We better, says Big Bash. The Dark Lord of the Sith also says we better. Yeah, I hope that maybe at least once. Maybe as a cameo, said Fireboy. We better, otherwise the movie gets a 1 out of 10, says Drake. Yeah, we'll all riot if there's no Cabbage Dude. Although, the Cabbage Man, remember the live action Netflix series? They went so over the top with the My Cabbages joke, and it wasn't even funny because they went too over the top. And they got the original voice actor to do it too. Yep, Gary Loca just mentioned that Cabbage Man reprising his role in the Netflix show. If we don't, it won't be the last Airbender. Yep. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it would be cool if after all these years they do it properly, especially after the Netflix show did such a terrible job of it. Okay, so it's going to be a movie, G-Gamer, this new Avatar movie. It's going to be a movie. All right, so who's ready to move on to the next story? Doggin, I'm drinking some Pepsi. Good Youths Production says, hi bro, I know you've done it on your Patreon, but are you able to briefly share your thoughts on the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer? Or are you looking forward to it? I'm not going to share my thoughts on here because I've literally just finished editing a video earlier today where I talk about my thoughts on the Brand New Day trailer. So stay tuned for that. That should come out by tomorrow, I'm thinking. I just got to make a thumbnail and I got to upload it. So yeah, that's where you can watch it. But yeah, if on my Patreon, there actually is an 18-minute trailer reaction where I like delve into everything. So if you want to see it, that's where you go on my Patreon. If you want to see that, if you want to see if you want to see like a more condensed version, the video will be coming out tomorrow, and you'll get my thoughts on it. Because my thoughts had changed the day after on some things, and they developed some. And I've given you my more developed thoughts in this upcoming video. But if you want to see my first ever trailer my first ever viewing experience of that trailer, it's on my Patreon. Billy says the jumping animation of the trailer felt awful, honestly. Yeah, I actually Billy is a member of my Patreon, so I'm sure Billy has seen it. Yeah, I did talk about the jumping animation. I was like, what is going on there? All right, so next story. Lanterns. Now, Lanterns has been going through a little bit of controversy, I've got to say. First of all, we've got the trailer came out for Lanterns, and yes, I have done a trailer reaction on my Patreon where I went into detail about it. And you can watch what I thought of it. I thought it's not a great trailer, but I was like, the show is very much what they were showing, what they had said it was going to be, which was like a true detective like crime thriller type thing. And there's going to be something in here that the Lanterns discover, which is supposed to be something that leads into what the bigger overall plan is for the DCU. So if you want to know where this DCU is going, this show apparently is going to be the beginning of what the overall story is going to be for the DC universe, for James Gunn's DC universe. So that's why you're going to want to watch this show. However, a lot of people were not impressed with this trailer. For one thing, they didn't like how it was very low budget and it's not space cops. They didn't like that we saw no green in the trailer, even in the freaking costume that you can see here. This is a color corrected image, so I actually tried to make this image look better. But the actual image in the trailer makes this look like a lot more yellow than green. Like there's hardly any green. Not to mention, I was not a fan of this costume because it looks just like what James Gunn's costumes look like all the time, which are clothes. This doesn't look like something a space cop would wear. It just looks like like clothes, like a costume, and I do not like that James Gunn does that. So now here's the thing. Now the backlash for this was actually quite big. That this was actually announced, and I'll tell you what I think in a second. So basically, this article says Aaron Pierre joins the Superman sequel Man of Tomorrow ahead of Green Lantern's debut in Lanterns. So basically, before this guy has even shown up in his own show yet, he's only got one trailer. We've already got the announcement that he's going to be in the next Superman movie. And I don't like that. It would have been so much better if we actually saw the show, if he did a great job and we liked what he did. Because I said this before, Aaron Pierre, he looks like Jon Stewart from the animated Justice League show. Perfectly cast. So if we saw the show, we were blown away by his performance and everything, and then we found out that he was going to be in the Man of Tomorrow movie, that would have been a cause for celebration. It would have made people excited. But instead, they just dropped this information as damage control for a poorly received trailer. And as a result, people heard it and no one cared. Not only did they not care, not only did no one seem to like get any positive impact or even really a negative impact from this news, but it didn't trend anywhere. Didn't trend on Twitter, didn't trend on YouTube, didn't really trend anywhere. It kind of came and went very quickly, just like that. And this is supposed to be some big news. So I was very disappointed. I was like, this should be something big. It should be exciting, an announcement like this. Superman and Green Lantern are finally going to be on screen together in live action. But instead, I was so bored by the announcement. And I'm really like anticipating this show. So if that's how I felt, I can't imagine how everyone else must have felt. So I think that was bad news, the way they delivered that news. And I'm very disappointed with how they did that. And really, they should have done a better trailer, I think. Now, that's not the only part of the controversy around this. Like, we got this damage control article as one thing, but then we have the showrunner, which I've actually got everything written down here. Damon Lindelof is the showrunner for this show. He's, I think, one of the showrunners, one of the writers. And he basically insulted the color green. They said, why is it called lanterns and not green lanterns at an event? And he basically said because he doesn't like the name green. Green is stupid, so he just called it lanterns. And it was very disrespectful the way he said it, and really like just a stupid remark. It's like calling it green lanterns, there's nothing wrong with calling it green lanterns, and not to mention lanterns on its own. That's, you could say, sounds just as dumb as green lanterns if you really want to get down to it. But the thing is, you're adapting the characters of the Green Lanterns. So why are you so ashamed of calling it the Green Lanterns? Now, I'm aware what he said was kind of like a joke, but it wasn't a joke done in good taste. It was very much done in poor taste. What he should have done was assured the fans and everyone that, don't worry, there's a ton of green in the show, that they use their rings, whatever, like all that kind of stuff. But he didn't give them those reassurances. Instead, he just kind of went off and made a very, like an unfunny joke about the color green and how he hates it. And not only did he get a backlash from fans about it, but he also got a backlash from comic book writer Grant Morrison. And Grant Morrison, thank you very much, Kevin. I'll get to that in a second. Grant Morrison, he is a comic book writer and one that James Gunn is actually taking inspiration from for his DC universe. And even he came out and said that Damon Lindelof's comments were basically stupid. He said, "Why does a writer attach himself to this kind of narrative if he thinks it's fundamentally stupid?" He says, "What is this jockish dismissal of superhero conventions intending to prove anyway? Does Lindelof imagine it makes him seem less nerdy? The only people who give an F about the Lanterns TV series are Green Lanterns fans. Why alienate them at the start? That feels more like stupid." So he's saying the Green Lantern's name is not stupid, but this statement you made is what's stupid. Now, Lindelof actually acknowledged this, believe it or not. He actually heard about this, and when this word came to him about it, he actually wrote an apology, essentially, and because he was like, "Uh-oh, I got called out by Grant Morrison." And James Gunn is actually like really taking inspiration from this dude. So yeah, he actually had to come out and say that Grant Morrison called me out, basically. Now let me find what he said. Here you go, right here. So I've got it written down here. He says, "I have upset Grant Morrison, which means I have now pissed off most of the brilliant British and Scottish comic writers that I grew up idolizing. To quote the bard Otis Redding, this is nobody's fault but mine." He says, "I made a dumb joke on a comedy podcast. I'm not going to bob and weave about context. The joke was dumb. The fandom is not. I owe them an explanation and a genuine reflection of my actual feelings. The very first time I appeared on a Comic-Con panel was for the Lost Pilot, back in the summer of 2004. I wore my favorite t-shirt as I had long grown out of my favorite underoos, those being the uniform of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern." And you actually got a picture here where he's actually wearing that shirt at the Lost convention. Which is kind of interesting that he's supposedly a fan of Green Lantern, wearing a shirt of it, and then later on he works on a Green Lantern show. Like, yeah. Where was I? There we go. Green Lantern of Sector 2814. For a quiet, uncoordinated kid, there was nothing cooler than a hero whose superpowers was his imagination. And green is not stupid. It is my lifelong favorite color, and I have a questionnaire that I filled out in 3rd grade to prove it. Green is effing awesome. More importantly, it would be a betrayal to everyone I worked for and alongside to say anything other than I was absolutely honored to be a part of the team that manifested the incredible construct that is Lanterns, because it was. I was sloppy and careless with my words, ironic considering I care so much about Hal, John, and the entire Corps. I can and will do better to be worthy of the oath. Until then, I'll let the show speak for itself, and I can't wait for you all to hear what it has to say. Okay, so he's basically given an apology here, and he said it was a dumb joke, which is kind of what I got from it. Even though it was done in poor taste, maybe the guy just has poor taste in humor. I mean, James Gunn has certainly had poor taste in humor at points, gotten him into a lot of trouble. But the thing is, it's just a weird thing. I do very much agree with Grant Morrison when he goes, "Why does a writer attach himself to this kind of story if he thinks it's fundamentally stupid?" And this in particular, what Grant Morrison said, I think is especially true. What is this jockish dismissal of superhero conventions intended to prove anyway? Does Lindelof imagine it makes him seem less nerdy? Like, that is true. It's like, just because you can take something in a more realistic approach, like say what Christopher Nolan did with Batman, even what Matt Reeves did with Batman, it doesn't mean that they insult the fantastical elements of the story or the comic versions or whatever. They very much are aware of them and they incorporate them into their own versions, but they just try to like mold it to make it fit their version, to fit the tone of the story they're telling. But sadly, you have others that I feel like have come around after the fact and have tried to make it out like the comic book version is lesser than. Which, even let's say if the realistic version comes up with some better ideas or better executions, that doesn't mean that you demean the original, the way it was done. The reason a lot of these people are even able to get to the more realistic version is because they still had that fantastical version that they were able to reference, and then they're able to like say, okay, let's make this change and this change to this already established formula. And then that's how they get their, their more, probably more evolved version, or version that broke more ground or took off more. You cannot diminish or demean the original work because that's ultimately what inspired you in the end. But sadly, Damon Lindelof, yeah, he did take the approach where it felt like he was above it. Even though if it was a joke and everything, it still came across kind of like obnoxious, like he was looking down on the material, calling it stupid. That's not a funny joke. If it was a funny joke, you have to find a way to kind of like bring it back full circle where you're like, green is cool or something. But the way he did it, it didn't come across right. And when even the comic writer, Grant Morrison, says that this is going too far, you've messed up, which is kind of what he said. So, yeah, I think that what he said was stupid. He's apologized for it. Thank you very much, Spirit Hero. I'll answer that in a second right now. But I do think that he shouldn't have done that at all in the first place. And let's hope the show is better than this silly costume here, and what we see seems like just too much True Detective, apparently. Excuse me. Let's hope the show commits to the fact and stays true to the source material of the Green Lantern, and they don't just force the fully realistic stuff. Because although I appreciate the realistic stuff, you gotta remember, this Green Lantern is going to go into the more fantastical side of the DCU at some point. So make it more realistic if you want to, but just don't disrespect what the original source material is. And Damon Lindelof, he should have known better. So he apologized, but let's hope the show, as he said, does speak for itself. Let's hope the show will take us all by surprise and end up being something great. All right, so let's answer a couple of these super chats. Let's write them down. So we got a $10 super chat from Kevin. And we've got a $2 super chat from Spirit Hero. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Kevin says, when the first Hulk came out in 2003, it was a very depressing film. We get it, he's a tragic character, but you can't make him too tragic. But when the reboot came out in 2008, they finally got it right. They did get it right, but I feel like they made some mistakes in that movie too, and that's what I think Edward Norton was trying to fix in that Incredible Hulk movie, but they didn't listen to him, and they made a movie that now most people don't talk about. Even though people like me, and even my younger brother who really likes the movie, we can look at the movie more fondly, and even yourself, Kevin. But I think one more in the minority. I think the majority of people have just forgotten all about that movie, and they don't really care. Although I still think it has the best score out of all the MCU movies, that Incredible Hulk movie. It even had a new Incredible Hulk theme, which was so good that I was like, I can't pick. The Danny Elfman theme is great, and this theme is also great. I can't really pick which one I prefer. But yeah, I think that Incredible Hulk is underrated too. Not a great movie, but definitely underrated. And then we have Spirit Hero who says, do you think this will damage the series? I don't think it will damage the series, but I think it'll make them have more of a close eye on it. So I don't think it will damage it. The show is not going to come out for a good few months still, so I think that people will forget about it when it comes out. Plus, if they release it, do you know what I think will fix this? They need to release another trailer. Release another trailer, make sure it's a damn good one, show some Green Lantern action, show a bunch of green in it, do not be ashamed of the source material, and then that will put it on a much better track. If they do another trailer which is more of the same here, where it doesn't give you much, I think then they'll be in some serious trouble. So that will damage the series, but if they do a good next trailer, it should work out in their favor. That's what I think. N Doggins says, yeah, this story is kind of lackluster. Yeah, it is. You're talking about the Incredible Hulk story. 2008 is underrated. Yep, I agree, it is. Kalu says, at least his apology feels genuine. I'm not so sure. It sounds genuine, but at the same time, it's like, what? Why would you say that in the first place? And the way he said it was just is very demeaning. The fact that even The fact that even the comic book writer came and didn't say something like, "Oh, you guys are just taking exaggerating this," the fact that he felt it as well goes to say that I think that Damon Lindelof, he went too far with his words, what he said. Do you think James Gunn told him to apologize as Spirit Hero? I don't know if he would have told him to apologize. I think he probably would have just looked at it and would not have been happy about it and probably would have mentioned it to him at some point. But I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn told him to apologize after Grant Morrison expressed his disdain for it. Because Grant Morrison, James Gunn holds him to a very high regard. He's even taking inspiration from his comics for his DCU. And for him to have taken offense, I think James Gunn must have thought that Damon Lindelof took things too far. So I think, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn did tell him at that point to apologize. And Dog and I agree. James Gunn is good but overrated, definitely. I think he needs someone else there to help supervise him with the DCU, because on his own, I don't fully trust his judgment. James Gunn needs to change his style, says Big Bash. Yes, that he does. Do you still have high hopes for Lantern, says Big Bash. I still do, because yes, I don't think the trailer is the best, but the thing is, it was a teaser trailer. As far as teaser trailer goes, I've not seen a superhero show like this. It looks very different, and I was not as offended by the fact that we didn't get any Green Lantern action, because there are many trailers where we don't get a lot of action, where we don't get the money shots. So I went in aware that we very much could get no Green Lantern visuals or imagery. That's what teasers are. So I was kind of surprised that other people were really disappointed by it, because that's just what teaser trailers do a lot of times. Maybe they wanted more green aesthetics going on, because it really is just a lot of yellow. It looks like a Texan desert or something. So maybe that's why people were more upset. But for me, I'm like, let's at least see the next trail before I start making some more judgments, because teasers often are disappointing, let's be honest. Gary Loke says, "I feel like you can't make the community happy these days. I feel like if there was too much green in the trailer, people will complain that it will just be same old." I don't think so. Green Lantern, all you got to do is just show a bit of Green Lantern ring action. I think that would have made people happy. The fact that they showed the whole trailer and they didn't really show anything that looked Green Lantern like, I think that was the issue. And this is why I say James Gunn should really, for one thing, just a small, simple thing, but it will work wonders, is he should allow his Green Lanterns to have the green outline around them when they're flying and using their powers. He doesn't do that. If you saw the Green Lantern in Guy Gardner in the Superman movie, there was no green glow around him, no green outline glow around him when he's flying or using his powers. And I wish that they would have put the green glow around him. So hopefully, I hope they take heed of that and think, okay, let's do that. Because without it, it just looks generic. It doesn't look like a Green Lantern is taking flight. It looks like any random superhero is taking flight. So I think they need to do that to differentiate them. Superman flies in a very specific way, Wonder Woman flies in a very specific way, and so does Green Lantern. And you got to illustrate that visually, and I don't feel like James Gunn has. It just looks like when everyone flies, they all look the same in his universe. Bally says, "You must watch Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's better than the MCU." Interesting. I've heard people say that is a good show. I think my brother watched that when he was very young, my youngest brother. But yeah, I never really sat down and watched it. Love Grizzly Polar Bear says, "Eric, do you even watch any of the Scooby-Doo and Batman crossovers growing up, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Batman crossovers?" I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman crossover, but not the Scooby-Doo and Batman, although I've been aware of its existence. The Ryan Reynolds one was bad, yeah. I think the flight scenes of Superman felt really nice, not gonna lie. Yeah, they were. I wish they would have went on a bit longer though, because they felt like they were over a bit too quick, especially the intro flight when he flies out after healing himself. I wish that would have gone on for longer, because that was really cool. Wish they made a comic accurate of the Green Lantern when they have green. Yeah, of course. Movie King says, "How's it going, Eric?" It's going good. How about you, bud? Glad to see you join the live stream. So yeah, but for those of you that want to see my trailer reaction, it's over on my Patreon, like I've said. So you can check out my trailer reaction to this there, to my Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer reaction, and many other trailer reactions too when they come out, and even previous trailer reactions that I've already done. can check them all out there. Plus, you can check out many other bits of many other bits of content there. I've got so much stuff going on my Patreon. Aaron Pierre also voiced Mufasa in the 2024 film. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I need to watch it again to now hear his voice back, see how it sounds. N. Doggin says, I just rewatched Man of Steel and it's my favorite Superman movie. You should check out my Richard Donner Superman versus Man of Steel versus James Gunn Superman versus video. I watched the third movie after many years. Sorry, I watched Man of Steel after many years for that video, and I give you my updated thoughts on it. And I actually had found more enjoyment with Man of Steel too, whereas before I was very mid with it. I actually had warmed to it a little more here. Movie King, I've not seen Invincible Season 4 yet. Oh, you did see it. The video was peak. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, bud. That took a long time for me to make. I was supposed to do a Fantastic Four versus Fantastic Four First Steps video, but I wasn't able to do it because I spent so much time making that particular video of the Superman versus that I didn't get around to it, sadly. Killick White says, hey Eric, how are you doing today? I'm doing very good, buddy. How about you? Subject says, I wanted to like Man of Steel, but I just couldn't get into it, even today. Back then I hated the movie, but now it's like, meh. Meh is exactly how I felt about it, but I did warm to it when I watched it the previous time. There was stuff to appreciate. Polar Bear says, Eric, have you heard about the Escape podcast on YouTube? It rings a bell, but I can't remember. Remind me, what is it? Joshman says, I'm ready for the final story about the garbage live-action remake of Tangled that Disney's going to end up screwing up. We'll talk about that in a second. Because guys know I do 2-hour streams, so we still got more mileage we can talk about with this particular story. A little bit more, and then we can move on. But no, I've not seen Invincible Season 4 yet. I'm considering doing a Let's Watch on my Patreon where you see my uncut reaction to it. Let me know if you guys want to see that, and I'll consider doing it. The main thing to remember from Man of Steel is the Superman theme and action a little more. Scream 6, Tara got stabbed in the gut, not in the chest. Yeah, Brandon, even if she got stabbed in the gut, not in the chest, still, she got stabbed close to the chest. Doesn't matter if it's the gut or the chest, it's still, in your belly, isn't it? That's enough to cause serious damage and even end up killing someone, but not here. Movie King says, are we expecting your reactions to Daredevil Born Again Season 2 on Patreon as well? I'm considering to do it as well. Which one would you rather have me watch? Daredevil Born Again, get my reactions to Daredevil Born Again, or Invincible Season 4? Which ones would you rather see my reactions to? Man of Steel had a good story. Henry Cavill deserved better. Big Bastard Daredevil Born Again. Dark Lord says Invincible, no question. And Anime says Invincible. Fireboy says Invincible. Wow. People really want me to see Invincible. What about The Boys Season 5? The Boys, I like to keep that separate from my work. I like to watch that on my own without having to cover it or review it personally. So, not The Boys. I'm keeping that away from my work. That's something I like to disconnect and watch. And it's the final season too, so... Do you still feel unsure about Brave and the Bold, says Spirit Hero? Yes, I still feel unsure about it, but let's see. James Gunn cannot mess that up. He can make a ton of good movies, but if he messes up a Batman movie, that's enough to undo all the good work he's done. So he cannot screw that up. So if he picked that writer, he better have seen something excellent in her. Not something good, not something great, something excellent. And this is going to prove whether he was right or wrong, because he's spoke in defense of her, and we'll have to see if he's right with his judgment or wrong. Billy says she would vote Daredevil. Rohan says Daredevil Born Again. Gary Loke says Daredevil. Spider-Will, thanks for the idea, but I don't know. We'll have to see how much Green Lantern is in the Lanterns show first. Oh, is it? Okay. I've not seen that podcast, Doggin. Eric, the skateboard cost is about 2 lands named Alex and Andrew who have to beat some movies, specifically superhero ones. Okay. Anime says you should do a poll. If I do a poll for that, I feel like I should do it on Patreon, shouldn't I, for all you patrons? But okay, let's do a poll. Then we can move on to the next story about the Disney live action remake. Okay. Start Q&A. All right. Which series would you like to see an uncut reaction to on my Patreon? Oh, hold on a second. Clicked the wrong thing. Start a poll. Invincible Season 4 or Daredevil Born Again Season 2? And stop poll. Even if you're not on Patreon, just answer the poll as if I was going to do this on YouTube. Which one would you prefer to see? Daredevil, would you prefer to see me do Let's Watches and reactions of Daredevil Born Again Season 2? Or would you prefer I did reactions to Invincible Season 4 on this YouTube channel? Because it will always go up. I'm debating whether or not I edit it for YouTube, because that takes a lot of work. But that's definitely on the table, that I edit for me. I make cut down versions for YouTube, and then the uncut ones will be on Patreon. Which ones would you prefer to see? That's the question here. It's 50-50 right now, anime, so you don't have to worry. So yeah, I'll leave that up for a couple minutes. In the meantime, I'll answer some questions. Then we'll move on to then we'll end the poll. Then we'll move on to the final story. And there is this confirms something. This casting for Tangled, by the way, it confirms something else for me. And I'll tell you what that is. And it's something which I don't think a lot of people are going to like. So yeah, place your votes on the poll. What would you like to see my reaction of? And like I said, I could potentially do some YouTube videos of it. YouTube versions of it where you cut them down. So yeah, let me know. Regular show's coming back in May called Lost Tapes, and the trailer for it is this Monday. Yeah, I've heard about that. Looking quite curious to see. Because if I understand, it's basically episodes that were considered too edgy, was it, for Cartoon Network? So they didn't release them. Eric, opinions on the Jungle Book and Cinderella remakes. Jungle Book remake, I remember I liked that, but I haven't seen the original animated movie, so I don't know what I'd think if I saw that. Cinderella remakes. I've not seen the Cinderella remake. I've seen bits of it, but that's it. Have I watched the Chucky TV show, Eric? Says Carlo. Yes, I did watch it. I watched season 1. We didn't. I don't think we got to season 2. Did we get to season 2? Or was it just season 1? I think it was just season 1 that we saw. Pretty decent. I didn't like the school setting, though. The previous movies had much better settings where Chucky was doing his thing. The school setting I did not really like. Uh, Crazy Cat Lady put some Scooby-Doo Netflix casting on the Discord. Really? Let's take a look. I gotta open Discord, though, first. Remember to place your votes, because I'm going to end the poll in a bit, so get your votes in there. Regular show was funny. Yeah. I think you're going to love Invincible Season 4's darker tone if you choose it over Born Again, says Movie King. Well, one thing is for sure, most likely, is that I will be filming my reaction for Patreon. So if you become a Patreon member, you'll see my uncut reactions to these. Stop spamming. Who's spamming? I can't see. Anyone spamming? Oh, there you go. Discord's loaded up. Let's see. Ah, Crazy Cat Lady has loaded these up on Discord. Hang on, let me show you the Scooby-Doo castings. Okay, so we are moving away from that story. Here's the Discord. This is the Discord server that you'll be joining if you become a Discord member. So let's take a look. We've got this right here. Okay, so yeah, McKenna Grace as Daphne, which I think we've already heard about. We've got Tanner Hagen as Shaggy. He kind of looks a bit like stoned, like how you would think a live-action Shaggy would be. He's got the curly hair down a little bit, although Shaggy doesn't really have curly hair, but he's got a good look, man. We got Velma here, which I don't really... I think they're most likely going to transform her. They're going to give her the wig and the dorky glasses, and then we'll see how she looks. It's hard to say right now. And then we've got Fred, who this guy looks nothing like Fred whatsoever. But then again, McKenna Grace looks nothing like Daphne. I think they're going to really try to make them younger here, aren't they? So we'll see how it goes in the final show. Although I do remember that she, I think for Halloween, dressed as Daphne. So now she's got the role. Isn't that kind of interesting? Anime, stand ready for my arrival, chat. Whenever I show the Discord family members on a live stream, they always like to say hi to the streamers, basically. Big Bash says, I think they look pretty good. I think this cast works. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. They're obviously gonna have to do some of them up. Like Fred is also gonna have to be given a blonde hair as well. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's the Discord server. That was the Relax and Chills channel. We've also got plenty of others as well, like the Watch Party. We've got movies, movies, TV shows, the latest movies, video game talk, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the poll. What's the poll at? Let's go back here. All right, we're going to end the poll. What ends up winning? All right, so which series would you like to see an uncut reaction to on my Patreon? 54% have said Invincible Season 4, and 46% have said Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So that is very, very close, that is. Like, only 4 points off, really. So yeah, interesting. Anime says closer than I thought. Yeah, closer than I thought, too. So, yeah, we'll see... We'll see what happens when I get to watching. In every anime, you're right. McKenna Grace is going to be in every franchise at this point. Yeah, she's even in the bloody Hunger Games, and now in Scooby-Doo. And man, she was trying to push to get into the Tangled remake too. Kalo says, "Can you do both?" I'll see. But like I said, a lot of content is coming over to Patreon, so definitely become a member if you want to get all that additional content, because I'm going to be doing a lot of it. I don't think you guys are ready for how much Patreon content I've got coming, so stay tuned. Oh, Velka, great to see you. I know I am late, but do you think Azula could come back in the Avatar movie? She could, but we'll have to see. Also, Velka, don't spam that much. Your first comment, I think I would have... Oh, wow, you've been commenting already. But yeah, don't spam that much. I'd appreciate that. Spirit Hero, a $20 super chat. And for those of you that don't know, Spirit Hero became a patron recently as well. So he's really very generous with supporting the channel. So a huge thanks for that, Spirit Hero. I really appreciate it. He says, I think live action remakes can work only if there are other ways to tell these stories by adapting them to their original fairy tale / source material, where they are less cartoony and more mature, like Jungle Book. Yeah, it really is just about justifying its existence. If you're there just to take the animation and just do a live action version of it, there's very little novelty there, because you're not going to feel the emotions that came from the animated version. The animated version was the original. The animated version, it was telling a story that was more original, and it was very earnest with the storytelling. It was trying. All the remake is trying to do is copy the earnestness, and you can't copy something like that. That is something that can't be duplicated. It's something that has to be felt. And when people are just trying to copy and paste what they've done, they're not putting the same effort and work into it that these original creators did. They're just it's essentially just a copy and paste job that you normally do. Um, it's just a copy and paste job that you do. Like, say, if you see someone else's homework and you just press uh, right click, copy, right click, paste. That's all these remakes are. And that's why they do not hold a candle to the originals, despite having near identical scenes. They just don't hold a candle to it. So that really matters. Also, Spirit Hero, thanks very much. That was very well said. But also, if you can, totally up to you, if you could do these super chats via Streamlabs, which I've linked in the pinned comment section or in the description, I'd really appreciate that, because that way 100% of your donation goes to me and YouTube doesn't take any cut of it. That's probably the best way. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine, but I just thought I'd let you know. That's the preferred method. Okay. Eric, thoughts on Hoppers? I've not seen Hoppers, although I want to see Ready or Not 2. Hopefully, if things go well, I can maybe watch that tomorrow if I get some work done. If not tomorrow, the day after. But I really want to watch Ready or Not 2. And then there's also that new Ryan Gosling movie that came out with him as an astronaut in space. The name, I just lost the name. I was saying it to my brother earlier today, like literally an hour before I did the stream. We were chatting about it. I just lost the name. But I've heard good stuff about that, so I'm considering watching that as well. Project Hail Mary, that was it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, I've heard people say a lot of good things about that, and I found out Lord and Miller directed it, which I did not know. They didn't market their names in like any of the trailers or anything. I saw a trailer for this movie when I saw Scream 7, and I was like, wow, if it's them, I'm really curious. N. Duggan says Ready or Not 2 looks fire. I've actually heard that it's not as good as the first, which made me consider waiting to watch it at home in about 2.5 to 3 weeks if it does come to digital in that time. But I'm considering watching it. And Dawkins says Project Hail Mary was peak. I watched it. Well, I'm curious as to what it could be. I've not seen it. Sorry, I don't know what it's really about. I've just seen that trailer. Hopefully it's a little bit more intense than what I saw in the trailer, because I'm surprised. It looked a bit kiddie, surprisingly. All right. Third story. Here we go. We've heard rumors of this, and turns out it's true. Catherine Hahn has been cast as Mother Gothel in the Tangled live-action remake. Now, she announced this herself. I think it was on her Instagram. She announced that she's going to be playing the character. Now, she's actually good casting for this. I think she's very good casting for this. But the thing is, it's still a live-action remake at the end of the day. We don't care about live-action remakes. They don't really have any impact. So I don't really care that she's in it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, live-action Disney remake. We're getting another one. Another actor that's been put into the role. But I'm sure they'll get paid well. But the thing is, no one really cares about this movie. I will say, though, this has confirmed something for me that I was not particularly happy with. Now, for those of you that don't know, we've got Scarlett Johansson, and Scarlett Johansson, she actually wanted to play. She campaigned to be in this movie. She put her name out there because she wanted to work with the director of this Tangled live action movie, because she was a fan of his work. But then there was talk about Matt Reeves wanting to cast someone to play Gilda Dent in his The Batman Part 2, and he wanted Emma Stone. Around that point, she said to her agents that if Emma Stone says no, do everything you can to get me a role in The Batman Part 2 as Gilda Dent. That's basically what she said. And what do you know? Emma Stone did say no, and now she's trying to be the frontrunner for Gilda Dent, and she's trying to campaign for it hard. And she even left this live-action remake that she originally wanted, and she said she wanted, also she could work on The Batman Part 2. And now that we've actually got Catherine Hahn cast here, I think that pretty much confirms that Matt Reeves has cast Scarlett Johansson. Something I wish he wouldn't have, because it said that Sebastian Stan, you know, Bucky from the MCU, is going to play Harvey Dent. So his wife is going to be Scarlett Johansson, who played Black Widow, and I think two MCU actors is too much, especially when Scarlett Johansson is like right high up. She's like one of the A-level Avengers to be in a Batman movie so soon after her Black Widow movie. I think it's too soon. So I don't like that she's in it if she's gonna be in it. I wish they would have hired someone else. Uh, and Sebastian Stan, he's first of all, he was like a B or maybe even C-list character as far as the Avengers heroes go. And he actually, if you watch him in movies, he's a very good actor. Even when he looks like his character, like Bucky, he puts on a performance where you feel like he is nothing like Bucky. Like you don't see Bucky at all, even though he has a very similar hairstyle and similar beard trim and everything. So he's that good of an actor. He's a chameleon. So him I can buy because he's like I said, he's more B-list. He's not an A-list Avenger, and him I can buy being in a Batman movie, but not Scarlett Johansson. And I really wish Matt Reeves would have just said to her no. So yeah, that's basically all I can say about this Tangled story is that Catherine Hahn is in it, and it provides more credence to the fact that Scarlett Johansson probably did get the role in the Batman Part 2, and it's not been announced yet. So, but I'm sure it'll be announced not so long now. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But two MCU actors is too much. Scarlett Johansson, even if Bucky was not in here, I think Scarlett Johansson would have been too much. Uh, so yeah, I don't like that they're casting Black Widow in a Batman movie. I don't like that particularly. Big Bash said Matt Reeves caved to peer pressure. Maybe he felt he couldn't get any better, and that Scarlett Johansson is a name that could, maybe help. But I wonder if she gets paid less for this, because when actors try to really get into a movie and the director says no, something they do to sweeten the deal is they say, we'll take a pay cut. And that usually will get the actor and even a studio to say, wow, we get this well-known actor at a discount. That's what Hugh Jackman did for Logan when he wanted the movie to be rated R. The studio was unsure at first, but he says, I'll take a pay cut. And when he took a pay cut and they put the budget of the movie down some, that was where they said yes. So maybe with Scarlett Johansson, if she offers that, I'll take a pay cut to be in this movie because, she wants to be in a Batman movie. She wants to be directed by Matt Reeves, who's a great director. Actors normally do take pay cuts for things like that. So maybe that's what she did, and maybe that made her deal seem more appealing, that she didn't cost as much as she normally would. So we'll have to see, I think. But yeah, she's been cast in the movie. Catherine Hahn's been cast in Tangled. They picked a good actor. They have a good choice, so I just don't have any faith in the movie. And then they picked Scarlett Johansson here, and which it's not been confirmed, but I'm pretty certain at this point that she is going to be in the Batman Part 2. So, what do you guys think of this news? I think I know what all of you think of this news, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What did you think of this news of Catherine Hahn being cast as Mother Gothel? And what do you think of the potential, almost confirmation at this point, that Scarlett Johansson's going to be in the Batman Part 2? Comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Oh, wow. Love Grizzly Polar Bear pretty much just said it in the most clear way he could have. He says, F this remake. We don't need it. That is true. And Big Bash says, I'm sticking with the animated movie. Very true. Don't care for the remake at all, says G Gamer. Joshman says, all I gotta say is boo. I wish this never existed. We really do not need any more live-action remakes from Disney. I agree with you there too. Billy says, Eric, I really hate how they are finally starting with their CG 3D movies because comparisons will just skyrocket. They will, because 3D looks more closer to real life than 2D does. The characters are already three-dimensional now, so now why are you trying to make them three-dimensional in live action when we've already got them in 3 dimensions? So, yeah, that is a good point. Well, let's see. I thought this was a Tangled story, not a Batman story, lol. Yeah, well, there wasn't much to say about Tangled, but they're connected, aren't they? I've said in a previous stream that that Scarlett Johansson was originally was campaigning for the role of Mother Gothel, but then she dropped it, and then the studio was looking at Catherine Hahn. And why did she drop it? Because she wanted a role in the Batman Part 2. So yeah, it kind of connects, doesn't it? All connected. She most likely will because she have done it before with another movie. Really, what movie is that, Killick? Catherine looks like Mother Gothel. Yeah, she does. She could take that as she will, but yeah. N. Doggin, another good actor in a horrible movie from the start. Yep, but I think she gets paid well for it, and that's what she's really looking for, a payday. No Disney remake will ever be good, says Doggin. It can be if they try, but they're not trying for it, are they? Drake says, I'm not watching the Tangled remake. Like I'm saying, I'm sick of them. Okay, let's hope that's what the general consensus is, because we don't want another Lilo and Stitch on our hands here. Spirit Hero says, well, she can certainly play the cartoonishly evil. Yep, she can. Definitely. Omar says, Disney never learns. No, they do not. What does this say? The animated one was mid, says N Duggan. Oh, really? I actually thought it was good. I'm not really excited. Where's this? My There we go. So it wasn't scrolling through the questions for a second. And now it's still not scrolling. That's so weird. Okay. Alice in Wonderland 2010 was a mistake, yeah. Khan says, I'm not really excited for the remake, and I'm really hoping Scarlett Johansson is not in the movie, but if she is, she better not play the actor and just play the character. Yeah, she better go above and beyond for it. Pull out a performance that she's never done before, because I do not want to see Scarlett Johansson one bit in that role. Oh, you're Nate the Great and Doggin. Ah, right. Okay. See, when people change their names, it's harder for me to remember it's them. I thought you were someone new. They're remaking Moana. Moana isn't even that old. Yeah, that's because Dwayne Johnson really wanted it. So, yeah. Blame him. But blame the studio for saying yes. Tangled is an animated masterpiece, and this is just another remake, like how Eric described the Aladdin movie in his Versus videos, his Grizzly Polar Bear. Yeah, it's just another remake, isn't it? Live action remake is suck now. No more live action, says Fireboy. Gary says, I'm okay with Scarlett Johansson if she doesn't take spotlight away from Two-Face. Yeah, she's got to stay in her lane wherever the story keeps her and not think, well, I'm a big actor, I want to have more screen time. Because that has happened with actors before. I hope Matt Reeves is given full control here and she just plays the part she's in, doesn't try to campaign for something bigger. That would be disgusting if she does. N. Doggins says, Spider, will she does. Spider, oh, you're saying to Spider will, oh, right. I'm tired of the same villains. The villain should have been Mr. Freeze. Well, we'll see what happens. Um, Joshman says, I feel like the live action remake of Tangled is going to be absolute garbage. We really just need to stop Disney. We really just need to stop. Disney does not try to put any extra effort into these remakes. They're lazy. Yeah, they are very lazy because they think it can make them money still. For 5 minutes, can you please don't make a live action remake for 5 minutes? I like that Shrek reference there, Fireboy. The original Tangled is one of my favorite films because of its quirkiness and Pixar sensibility. Yeah, it is a very good one. They'll remake Frozen one day, just watch. Yeah, I bet you they will. And I bet you that will make money. The longer they wait, the more they can call it nostalgic. Didn't Harrison Ford behave like this on Captain America? What? He wanted to get more screen time. I personally thought less time on the screen would have made him happier because it means he got to film for less. Who would you rather be in the Batman Part 2 instead of Scarlett Johansson? I don't know. It could be anyone. Gilda Dent. I don't know too much about Gilda Dent, but I feel like they could hire anyone else to play Gilda Dent, and like there could be higher level actresses. They're not coming to mind right now, but they could hire them to play her. Just doesn't have to be someone from the MCU. Eric, would you agree that the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch that gave them the wrong message when it comes to continuing these terrible live action remakes? Yeah, like I said in my Lilo and Stitch versus video, they were about to step away from these remakes because they were realizing people are getting sick of them. Then Lilo and Stitch made so much money that they went full speed back in. They even put Tangled back in the menu. When Tangled, they were gonna try to end it, but then they did it again. So yeah, it definitely convinced them. The CGI for her hair, I can already tell it's going to be terrible. Disney are hit or miss now. They've been hit or miss for a while now. These remakes get worse and worse. Aladdin was cringeworthy, Beauty and the Beast is terrible, and The Lion King is an insult. Yep. We need to stop watching these remakes. It's our fault that these movies keep being made as Big Bash. I agree. They're going to remake Wreck-It Ralph. Oh no, yeah, they'll certainly wreck it, won't they? Aladdin remake was the best one. I think there was good stuff in it, but I don't think it was the best one. Scarlett is a good actress, but not meant for the Batman and Matt Reeves. Plus, her Jurassic movie was pretty bad. Yeah, it was. She brought nothing to that role in the Jurassic Park movie as well. So she's not even that great as like an actress that stands on her own. My dad even said that he doesn't think that she can hold a movie on her own, and I agree with him. I don't think she can hold a movie on her own. Omar says maybe for the Batman 2 can fix Mr. Freeze. Maybe for the third they can fix Poison Ivy. Now I think Poison Ivy would not really fit Matt Reeves' version. Of all the villains, I would like to see them do other villains as opposed to Poison Ivy. All right, guys, Q&A time. You can ask me questions for the next 24 minutes. And then I'm going to leave and I'm going to get some food because I've not eaten yet. Okay. Scarlett Johansson only earned about 4,000 per week for 2 months for Asteroid City. 4K per week is a lot. Probably not for them, but hey, a lot. How are the other commissioned videos doing, Eric? They're doing good. I'm working on K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm also working on The Monkey. Those will be the next two to come out. Well, this is where I drop out. Bye, everyone, says Billy. Thank you, Billy, very much for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Take care. We'll see you at the next watch party, which will probably be the Mario movie. So we'll see you then. I've not seen enough of Winnie the Pooh to really give you an answer on that, Grizzly Polar Bear, so I can't really say. Eric, do you think Spider-Man 2 video game was good or bad? I liked it a lot and is my favorite video game. It depends which Spider-Man 2 you're talking about. Well, you talk about the so the recent Spider-Man 2 game or the Spider-Man 2 movie-based game? I think let's see. Just reading what Spirit Hero is saying. He says, I'm typing out an explanation on what I said on my donation on Discord because I wanted to say more. It's a long one. Well, write your message here and then I can switch to Discord. If your super chat continues, I can switch to Discord and read the rest of it there. Yeah, basically, I think the recent Spider-Man 2 video game, I was very mid with it. I thought it was a decent game, but it felt like Spider-Man 1.5. It didn't feel like truly like Spider-Man 2, like what the Arkham game sequels felt like. And that was very disappointing to me. And I thought the story, it took a lot of shortcuts, and I think it wasn't ballsy or brave enough to really commit. So I thought it was okay, personally. I much preferred the first Spider-Man game over this one. Drake, I forgot the Lady and the Tramp remake existed as well, but if you go to my Patreon, you search for the really old videos, I actually did a mini versus podcast of Lady and the Tramp, the remake versus the animated movie. So if you want to know my thoughts, check that out. I'd recommend you check that. Imagine if Scarlett asked for top billing for Batman 2 over Robert Pattinson. She shouldn't and wouldn't. I think she'd be really entitled if that's what she asked for. Have you seen the trailer for Daredevil Born Again Season 2? I have. Meh. I forgot all about it already. And like I said, I don't trust what the trailers show. The episodes have to speak for themselves, and they better be excellent. That's what I've said, and that's what they should be. Eric, which Marvel character do you want Insomniac to make a game out about after Wolverine? That's a very good question. I'd like to see another Punisher game. It'd be very fun to see what they could do with that. Like, it's another R-rated game. It would be an M-rated game. And I'd love to see what they could do with that, because there already is a great Punisher game. But I'd like to see what they could do with a Punisher game now. Modern day. Anime says, by the way, 4,000 per week for 2 months of work is about 30 to 35K. Cole, yeah, we are in the Q&A right now. Yeah, that is, for actors standards, that's nothing. But, Yeah, for actors, that's nothing, but for the mainline people, that's more than a year's wage right there for some people, all in just 2 months of work. So yeah, but yeah, she did get paid less to be in that movie because it is a low budget movie. So I don't think she'll get paid that little in Batman, but she will take a pay cut, I'm sure. Eric, what's your favorite South Park episode? There's a lot of them, and it depends what mood I'm in. But one of my favorite ones is the one with South Park where Cartman is having like a very competitive thing with Scott Tellman, was it? What was his name? Scott. You guys know what that episode is. That took a dark turn at the end that I just got lucky. I happened to watch a South Park episode one day, and that was the one, and it was instantly iconic because it's messed up. Even Cartman's friends were like, dude, I think we should never piss Cartman off again. And they're like, good call. So, yeah, let me just read that. Big Bassett. Scott Tenorman. Yeah, there was a way they pronounced it. Have you seen Project Hail Mary yet? I saw it at an early screening last week and really loved it. Says Cole. I haven't, but I want to watch it. I want to watch if I get a video done tomorrow and I get off work early, I would like to watch Ready or Not 2 and Project Hail Mary back to back in the theater. I've not done that in a long time. The last time I did a movie back to back in the theater, was when I watched Carrie, the 2013 remake, and then The Hunger Games: Catching Fire back to back in theaters. That's the only time I've done that, and I'd love to do it again. When Cartman decided to be disabled, I remember when he tried to pretend to have Tourette syndrome. Is that the one you're talking about? Jeez, what a little crybaby, says Spirit Hero. Yeah, I get that. Love Grizzly Polar Bear says, read his comments. What are you commenting? Let's see. Eric, do you think Raja Gosnell is a bad director? And do you think the Netflix casting will live up to the 2002-2004 casting? I don't think the casting will live up to the original casting. I'll say right now. What did Raja Gosnell, what has he directed? I have no idea. Oh, he's directed. No, that's not. It can't be. Those can't be the directors. Oh, it says he made Home Alone 3. And he made the Smurf movies and something called Never Been Kissed, which never watched it, but I remember. So, Big Mama's House, I remember, was fun back in the day. And he directed Scooby Doo. So he's directing. What is he directing the new? No, I don't think he is directing the new one. I think you're just talking about the original movies. He's an alright. He's nothing special of a director, really. Uh, I gotta go now, but Eric, bye. Take care, Fireboy. Thank you for joining the stream. Did you know apparently there was a cancelled DC David Goyer Flash movie with Ryan Reynolds as Wally West Flash? Thank God it was cancelled. Because he would have just played Ryan Reynolds, and that wouldn't have been fun for a Flash character. It sucked that Mark Webb did Snow White because Disney just took it from him. Well, I think he knew going in that it was not a project he was going to have any control over, and that he was just going to get a good paycheck from it. That's what he wanted, clearly. Hey, you should do the Batman versus Dark Knight. That would be epic. I already did a version of that, didn't I? Uh, didn't I do Batman versus the Dark Knight versus the Batman? Check that out. I've already done a video like that. Eric, what do you think of the Scary Movie 6 trailer? I liked it. I thought it looked funny. There was some stuff that was not funny in it. There's a couple of movies that they're spoofing that I've not seen, but I know they're spoofing it. And yeah. Hang on, Ghostface. I'll link you the video in the chat. Oh no, I didn't do the Batman. I'll do that when the Batman Part 2 comes out. When the Batman Part 2 comes out, I'll do Batman Returns versus The Dark Knight versus the Batman Part 2. So that's what I'll be doing when that comes out. So I can't do that now, but I'll show you in the chat the one that I did make. Hold on. Here you go. Here's the video that I did make. It's linked here. Let's see. He says, I'm a huge fan of your videos. Oh, thanks, bud. I really appreciate that. Love Grizzly Polar Bear says, Eric, did you update your Patreon with membership payments? What do you mean, Grizzly Polar Bear? Because, yeah, I did do some updates recently. There's going to be another update soon. But, yeah, I'm trying to make them make sense because there's some of them were a bit too close. I was trying to, like, keep a little bit of a distance between them. But, yeah. Have you considered doing more rankings after the Scream video, says Cole. Well, that depends. Did you guys enjoy the ranking video? How many of you have seen my Scream ranking video, and did you enjoy it? Would you like to see more? Love Grizzly Polar Bear says, I have to pay to become a member. Which membership perk are you looking at? Which one do you want to do? I love the ranking video. I'd see more, says Big Bash. I have seen your Scream ranking video, and I would like for you to do another ranking video in the future, said Joshman. Okay. Ghostface says, I love it. Brandon, I haven't seen your question about laws and the real girl. I'll have to take another look. Hold on. I have and thought it was great, said Anime. I did. I hope you rank Pixar, says Nate the Great. What are your most anticipated movies for the rest of this year, Eric? Do you think Doomsday is a good idea? I'm hyped and we'll do a double feature for the same night. My most anticipated movies for the year right now are Clayface, and my most anticipated movie this year is the Avatar Aang movie, without a doubt. I thought it was great. I did. Hope you rank. I love the ranking video. I hope you do more, says Rohan. Okay. Drake says, yes, I would love to see more ranking videos. Okay, yeah, I was thinking of doing more at some point, so yeah, I will. Yeah, love Grizzly Polar Bear. For you to gain access to the content on my Patreon, you do have to do a small monthly payment. You can choose. Thing is, you can choose to do it for 1 month, or you can choose to do it for many months. Basically, it all goes towards supporting the channel and allowing me to do this full time, which is ultimately my goal. So, any support for any of you can do on Patreon, even if it's the most basic perk, it really does go a long way, because the more patrons I get, the more closer I get to doing this full time, which is the ultimate dream, essentially. So yeah, anytime you guys can do it, even if it's like just the basic perk, I'd really appreciate it, because collectively it helps in a huge way. So I'd really appreciate that. Love Grizzly Polar Bear says, for your entire page, do I have to pay to become a... Yeah, you do. Pick one of the tiers and you can join that. And if you become the Discord family member, we've already got like 18, 19 people on the Discord family member perk. So you'll be joining like a community in there. So, and we do watch parties every 2 weeks. This upcoming week, we're going to be doing the Super Mario Brothers movie watch party. So, yeah. Spirit Hero says, okay, long rant is done. Gary Lux says, will you watch Mandalorian Season 3 before the movie comes out? Mandalorian Season 3. I've already watched some, but I remember I stopped at a point, because I just kind of got... And I didn't even get to the Jack Black episode yet either, because they were starting to get quite, just boring. But maybe I will watch the rest before I watch the Mando movie. I think I probably should. Craig Gillespie, the director of New Supergirl, also did Laws and Real Girl before Ryan Gosling became a big actor. Oh, really? I've not seen that movie. Big Bash is asking the serious questions or the personal questions. Eric, is there a movie your parents didn't want you watching, but you watched secretly without them knowing? Yes, so many. Because when I was a kid, a lot of you probably won't realize this, but there was a time where you did not have YouTube or the internet. So basically, your only way of watching a movie was if your parents said yes or no, or sorry, if your parents said yes, if you sneakily watched a movie at night, hoping they would not come downstairs in the middle of the night and hear you watching, even if it's at a low volume so you can't fully enjoy it, or if you watch it at a friend's house. or someone else's house, or if your aunt and uncle let you watch it, a movie that you shouldn't be watching. And methods like that worked, but I was never able to watch a movie in my in a friend's house or anything, because I was homeschooled, so I never really had a friend to go out to their house and see a movie in. But YouTube came around about 2005, and it was around 2007 when I started using it to watch TV shows and stuff that people would upload, and including some movies. And yeah, some adult movies that I wasn't allowed to see. Now, when I say adult, I mean violent. I don't mean dirty. That's not what I mean. So I remember I watched Child's Play 2 on there, which they said I couldn't see, even though I did watch Child's Play 1 one night. So I watched Child's Play 2, I watched Child's Play 3, I watched The Bride of Chucky, I think I watched The Seed of Chucky on there. I also used my Nintendo DS to watch Sweeney Todd, and I know there must have been many other movies that I watched that my parents said no, but I was watching behind their backs. Yeah, that was when this technology was new and you could go behind your parents' backs to see this kind of stuff. Khan says, ever thought about releasing some of your versus videos on other social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok? I've thought about it, but how would I do it? Would I literally just put the whole video on there, or do I have to condense them down into snippets? Like, how would you? What do you think is the best way to do that? I'd be genuinely curious, because it's not like I don't want to. I just haven't found the right way to do it, which is why I haven't done it yet. Saucer's Potty was mine, said anime. Regretted it immediately. I was old enough to watch that. Me and my brothers and sisters watched it. I remember. Eric, is there? No, I've already read that. Rank MCU, please. Would love to see some classic Marvel Eric rants. That's going to be a heck of a long video if I did something like that. Eric, opinion on Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Here's the thing, guys. If you make if you help share the Scream 7 ranking video and click the hype button, give it a thumbs up, and share it, if that video gets more and more views, it will give me more and more of a reason to like go even further. So maybe one day I could make that really, really long Marvel ranking video. But right now, I need to try to I need to judge how long it will take me to make a video versus how much views will it potentially get and things. So if you want something like that, share it around more. And if there is like more of an appetite for it from not just ourselves, but others, then maybe I could go from making like the smaller ranking videos to the super longer ones. So share it as much as you can. Like I said, sharing my videos is key. And if more and more people are attracted to a certain format video than others, then yeah, I will definitely expand and do even more of them. But I would love to do more ranking videos. But big ones like the MCU rankings, that one I'll need more convincing to do something as big as that. Doing a Pixar ranking when Toy Story 5 comes out. I'll think about doing a Toy Story ranking when Toy Story 5 comes out. That's what I'm thinking. There's so much Pixar movies to rank, and I've not even seen all of them. John Wick and The Conjuring. Ooh. Conjuring 1 I saw on my own in the house, which was cool. Freaky to watch it on your own when everyone else was out. Conjuring 2 I saw in theaters when it came out. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of other movies that I did that with. See you next stream as well, Spider. Well, thanks for joining. We'll be done soon. Yeah, we've got 6 minutes and then we'll be done. Oh, hi, Trevor. Great to see you, bud. Sorry to say what I just said, but yeah, 6 more minutes, then I gotta go get some food. I've not eaten. Oh, you're having a bonfire. Oh, nice. Hope it's all going good. I'm doing good, bud. I do have a question. Do you think Andrew Stanton is the right guy to direct Toy Story 5? I don't know. What has Andrew Stanton directed? Because you do know that with something like Toy Story, they're not going to let him have full control over something like that. Oh, he did Wall-E, it says. Although I don't know if that's him actually directing. Oh, he did some episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We all know how that turned out. Toy Story 5, let's see what he's directed. Nothing really that impressive. He did Finding Dory. John Carter, wow, this guy, I'm surprised he's got Toy Story 5 from that, because John Carter was a huge bust. He directed Finding Nemo as well, directed Wall-E. He co-directed Bug's Life. I mean, that's not a bad resume, but he's not really done much in a long time. The last time he did something really big, Finding Dory was 2016, but I don't think people really talk about that much. The last time he did something really big and successful was Wall-E, which was 2008. So yeah, he's that's a long time, almost 20 years later. So I wonder what how good he'll do. Take care, Spirit Hero. Thank you very much for joining the stream. I appreciate it. He's been with Pixar since the beginning, so yeah, we'll see how he does. Drake says, "All right, I'm gonna go now. See you all your next stream and stay safe." Okay, take care, Drake. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. We got 3.5 minutes left on the stream, so get your questions in and I'll answer them. Doggin says, "What's your thoughts on Scary Movie 6?" Says N Doggin. Um, Scary Movie 6 is not out yet, but think it looks interesting, so I'm curious to see it when it comes out. Maybe I'll rank the Scary Movie films. Would you be interested in that before the movie comes out? Because that's also coming out in June. Eric, read your comment. Eric, do you think alongside How to Train Your Dragon, Shrek, and Kung Fu Panda are masterpieces and top-tier movies of all DreamWorks? And also, have you seen Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers? Yes, I have seen Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. Terrible movie. How to Train Your Dragon is great. Shrek is great. Kung Fu Panda, I need to watch them again. I've not seen them in so long, and I've only seen them like once, the first two movies, and I've not seen 3 or 4. So I got to watch them all again. But I've got 1 and 2 in 3D, which I'm planning to watch because apparently the 3D was excellent with that movie. So I'm gonna see that at some point. Ghostface says, "Hey Eric, I do think that Scream 5 is better than 6, only because they managed to kill a legacy character. I don't like how he died, but the fact that he did, I just think that raised the stakes. Thing is, it didn't raise the stakes because other characters continue to get stabbed so many times in that movie and don't die, but Dewey did. To me, it gave a false sense of stakes. Like they were trying to trick you into saying, look, well, our movies have got stakes. But then you see all the people that survive all these stabs, and it's like, well, where are the stakes gone? You can't just say he dies, but then these characters don't. And in Scream 6, people get stabbed so many times and they stay alive. So the movie would give you a false sense of stakes. Real sense of stakes means everyone else that got stabbed would have also died, but they didn't. So that's not a real sense of stakes. It's a false sense of stakes. A real sense of stakes means everyone who gets stabbed starts to die, but they didn't. So it was a false sense. I can keep repeating that because that's how I really feel. It felt like it was an undignified death, and they wasted his death. So yeah, again, watch my ranking video. You'll see I go into extreme length about talking about his death, and I was not happy with it. I remember, still not happy with it. You can tell even Nev Campbell is not happy with it. She says the words that I say, like it's a bummer. Like she goes, "It's depressing, isn't it?" Like, I'm like, yeah, it really is. So I hope they bring him back. He's the one character where I'll be like, if you bring one character back, I'll let you off if you bring him back because he needs to come back. I don't like what they did, killing him off the way they did. So if they bring him back, I think the franchise would benefit. And you get, as we used to say back in the day, you get one. That's the one that they get. I'll say bring Dewey back. Clone Wars brought Darth Maul back. They got one, and look how great he was when they brought him back. Same with Dewey. Bring him back. Have you heard the news that Spy on Brand New Day is the #1 most viewed trailer with 78 million? Yes, I have heard that. I'm surprised as well, too. Khan says, try to release snippets of your Versus videos to make people interested in watching your videos on YouTube. I mean, if you have any ideas for how, because my Versus videos are long, like how would you trim it down? If you want to trim one down and send it to me privately, do so, and I'll see. Because I need an idea of how to do it. Because right now I've got a second YouTube channel where I'm going to be uploading this individual segments onto that separate YouTube channel so people can see chunks of my Versus videos, and then they can get redirected to my full Versus video if they so choose on my main channel. So that's what I'm planning to do. I already have the second channel made. G-Gamer says, I think he meant show a certain moment from the Versus video as a short. Yeah, it requires thoughts on how to do that, is what it does. Eric, when's your next stream? 2 weeks from now. Although a week from now, I do a stream every Sunday I used to do, but at a point it started to become a bit lonely. Like I was chatting with you guys, but I'm just seeing you guys as text. So I wanted to engage with you guys more. So I opened up a Discord server at the request of some of you guys. Some of you guys suggested it, and I'd never used Discord, so I had to learn how to use it. And I finally set it up, and now we do one live stream every week, one Discord video call every week, which is usually a watch party. So yeah, basically we get one live stream, one watch party every week. One live stream, one watch party. And to gain entry into the watch parties, you have to become part of the Discord family, which means joining me on Patreon. And then, every couple of weeks we all get together, we chat, we play games sometimes, and there's a lot of fun to be had. It's really nice to be able to speak with you guys like personally and everything. It makes a change from just seeing profile names and usernames. Anime says, my only complaint with the Steam Deck is the overheating issue. Well, it depends what games you're playing. If they're very intensive, they'll definitely be heavier on there. So some games I don't like to play on the Steam Deck, like Hogwarts Legacy, because sometimes the unless you have headphones on or the speakers are on loud, the intensity of the fans can sometimes be a bit stressful. But there are plenty of other games that you play where it doesn't happen. And the fan is just moderate or you don't hear it at all. Like I'm playing BioShock recently for the first time. I've never played it before. The Steam Deck is so quiet and the graphics are max settings. The original, not the remake. The remake doesn't look as good as the original. Gaming PCs is pretty cool, says Big Bash. Nice. Next time you see some, if there's interesting ones, share pictures of it on Discord. I'd love to see that. N Doggin says, what is Discord? Another content creator I watch is on there. Have you heard of him? Drek FDB. I've not heard of him, no. But Discord is basically where we all get together and you can get in contact with me pretty much any time. So if you send me a message, or if you send a message on the servers we have, like the movie server, the TV show server, the gaming server, the relax and chill server, you can get in touch with me or ask me questions or chat with the rest of the Discord family and get updated on new movie news, game news, TV show news, Harry Potter news, whatever it is, all on the Discord server. So it's part of a community. And like I said, every couple of weeks, we always chat and get together, play games. We also can sometimes say, like, get food ready, get your popcorn ready, get pizza ready for movie nights, and, whatever it is. And we all have a blast. Big Bash just said that Discord was the best thing to happen to this channel. It really is. It means I get to actually speak to you guys. Like, it's not just this where I'm speaking to you guys through the webcam and I'm reading your comments. I actually get to see you guys, and it's always nice every couple of weeks to get to see you. It's one of the highlights of my week. So next week we get to do the same thing. Big Basher says, and see our faces. Yeah, we do get to see our faces. I Hear Anime says it's easier to communicate with you, which I love. Yeah, right back at you. It's easier to communicate with you guys too, and to apply faces to your profile images and your usernames is super cool. And yeah, it's like we did a watch party of The Thing recently, a couple of weeks ago. And what happened is because it was a really gross movie, like very like had a lot of body horror. I said, everyone, let's turn our cameras on and we can all look at each other's facial expressions as the blood stuff happens. And a lot of us had a lot of reactions. Anime as well also had a reaction to some of the blood. A lot of us did. It was a lot of fun. So I'd highly recommend joining the Discord server if you can, because it is a lot of fun. I get to see you guys personally, and you're supporting the channel at the same time. So feel free to do so if you can. It's really does help support the channel. And Dawkins says, please answer my question. I just did. Logman, you saw Project Hail Mary. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I want to see it too soon. I've heard a lot of great things. Polar Bear says, Eric, did you ever manage to watch Peter Pan and Wendy again? And do you love Peter Pan 1953 original? Peter Pan and Wendy, no, I never got a chance to watch it again. Me and my brother watched the first 10 minutes to see what it was like. It was so bad. What we did was we went to the Disney Plus and just watched the animated movie. And we watched it from beginning to end, and it was so good. Just to wash the taste out of our mouth. It was that bad. So no, I've never gone back to it, nor do I ever want to. A lot of you are saying, please answer my question. And what did you ask, N-Dog? And I thought I answered your question. Last thing before I leave, Eric, who's better, Kendrick Lamar or Drake? Are these singers? Because something you'll know about me is I don't really know much about singers. I love orchestral music from movie scores and things. I'm not rappers. Yeah, I'm not, I don't really have any knowledge on that, I'm sorry to say. Do you love your Dark Knight? And do you love the Dark Knight? And is it your favorite Batman movie? Yes, it's my favorite Batman movie, and it's my favorite movie of all time, and my favorite comic book movie. Thoughts on Captain Hook? Which Captain Hook are we talking about? If it's the animated one, he's hilarious and great. So Yeah. So for those of you that want to speak to me over the course of the next week and join the watch party, head on over to my Patreon, become a member of the Discord family, and through that, I'll be able to speak with you. You'll be able to speak with me, even when one like even right now when we're not doing live streams, you can still send me questions, messages, trailers, whatever it is, and I'll be able to respond. So yeah, if that sounds good to you and you want to be involved in watch parties and things, then join join the Discord perk and become a member of the Discord family. I'd love to see you guys there. We are growing the family as well, by the way. If you take a look, more and more people are joining, and the more people, as they say, the more the merrier. So, yeah, and like I said, it supports the channel, it helps me do this full time. So that would be really appreciated. Okay, so one last super chat from Kevin, and then we'll call that a day. Is Revenge of the Sith a perfect example of a good film? And is this a Batman? And is this and Batman Begins both better than Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Batman and Robin? Revenge of the Sith is better than the other two prequels, and definitely better than Batman and Robin. And and the Dark, what was it? And yes, this and Batman Begins are definitely both better than Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Batman and Robin, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. All right then, let's see. Endoggin says, bye, Eric. Was a fun first stream as a new subscriber and old viewer. Oh, this is your first stream. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, old viewer. You're an old viewer, but you've never been on the stream. Well, I'm glad you came to the stream. Hopefully I'll see you here in the next couple of weeks. And if you want to become a patron, I'll hopefully actually see you in person for our Mario watch party, which will most likely be doing the Super Mario Brothers watch party next Sunday in preparation for the new Mario movie coming out, which I plan to do a versus video on. And you'll get to see me write my review as I'm watching the movie for the watch party. Because I'll be writing for my versus video. All right, so thanks a ton, everyone. Really appreciate it. I had tremendous fun with you guys, as I always do. And thanks a ton for watching, and I'll catch all of you very soon on the next live stream and on the next watch party, which will be watch party next week and live stream 2 weeks from now. Always on a Sunday. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.